As I started by saying, great to see you again. I've seen some of you virtually, but not in person now for 18 months, so it's been a long time. So it's also, the first time in 18 months that I actually sit down and have a discussion with the Council in person. It was good. I expressed my frustration of lack of progress on the political front, and I heard loud and clearly that that's a frustration shared by all members of the Security Council. I also heard a very strong support to the work that I and my team are doing, and I hope that will materialize in then the ways I mentioned in the briefing. And you heard me saying that we need a new approach. We need to find a new way to cooperate internationally. And I said we need to do that in a step-for-step manner, which is precise, it's reciprocal, and is verifiable. And I also indicated to the Council that after being here today, not indicated, I told the Council that I will be leaving for Rome, where I will be seeing quite a number of foreign ministers that have been invited by the United States and Italy. And after that, I hope soon to be able to go to Moscow to continue discussions with Foreign Minister Lavrov and his team, and then, of course, also being in close touch with Turkey and with Iran within the Astana format. And my hope is that through these discussions, we will actually be able to unite on what we agree on. And there is actually, on the Syrian file, there is quite a level of agreement, but it hasn't materialized into action on the ground. And this is what I need to see. I also said in my concluding remarks to the Council that I hope that next time when I'm back in my next briefing, that we will also then can see a united Council, and that we will have then a continuation of the cross-border operations, and of course also cross-line operations to be able to continue the humanitarian support to the Syrian people. Thank you.
Thank you. James Case, Al Jazeera.
Special Envoy, thank you very much for doing this. You've spoken today and you spoke last month about a new constructive international dialogue. Could you perhaps expand on that? Is this going to be a new grouping of countries, a new mechanism? What do you have in mind?
Yeah, as you know, I actually started mentioning the need for this in my first briefing to the Council after I took office. And since then, a lot of things have happened, but of course now there has been an election in the United States, a new administration in place, and I sort of restarted a little bit that discussion. I hope that, after the round that I'm going to have now, that it will be possible for me to give you a bit more details when I see you here, hopefully in the not too distant future. But I think now, sort of the dialogue has just started, and I think it would be unfair of me to give too much of details on how I like to see that unfold.
Thank you. Edie Leonard, Associated Press.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pedersen, and always nice to see you back here. Come back more often. What made you think that this might be the right time to try and launch a new international dialogue? What's changed, and is there any idea or any thinking that you have of when this might actually happen? Are we talking about weeks, months?
I hope we are not talking about too many weeks, to put it like this. But as I just said, let me be a bit more precise on that after my round of consultations with the foreign ministers that I'm now going to have. But I think there are a few very important developments. And of course, it is what I call the relative calm on the ground that has now been going on for 15 months, where you haven't seen front lines changed in Syria. This, I think, is an extremely important development, but it's a very fragile calm. And we need to discuss how we can make sure that this doesn't break down. Then, as you know very well, there has been a very serious development when it comes to the economy. We have seen a collapse of the Syrian economy. This is also creating new challenges. And I think we all see that these two developments And then, of course, with the issue of detainees that I mentioned, the issue of refugees that and displaced persons that I mentioned in there, all of this, I think, should create a certain sense of urgency for the international community so that we don't now miss the opportunity to move in a situation where there is a relative calm and everyone is again emphasizing that there is no military solution to this conflict.
Ray, Sky News Arabia.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Special Envoy. I know you are facing many problems like the humanitarian situation, like the refugees, but also today the Syrian ambassador talked about the Turkish occupation of the Syrian territories. He even mentioned that Turkey is appointing official administrators in these territories. Do you think it's a problem facing your mission as Special Envoy, or it's not a problem? Thank you.
I'm sure you listened very carefully to what I said inside. I said that there are now 5 international armies operating in Syria. This is creating a lot of challenges. We need to address that. I also said that there are different parts of Syria controlled by different, I don't even remember what term I used, but the reality is that we have at least 3 different parts, and this is a situation that needs to change. This can only change, in my opinion, if we sit down and have a serious discussion between the key international players with the UN facilitation. And this is what I'm hoping to launch. Thank you.
Karina Muslimova, Sputnik.
Thank you, Mr. Pedersen. It's really nice to see you in person. Do you have the date set for your travel to Moscow?
No, I just discussed it with my good friend, the Russian ambassador, and they are working on trying to find a date soon. Yeah.
Alan, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Alan Bulkati with RIA Novosti. Are you going to attend in person the Nur Sultan meeting, and what are your expectations from this event? Thank you.
You know, we are currently discussing my travel plans, so we will see when we have the actual dates for the meeting. How that will play into all the other meetings I'm planning to have in the next 14 days, actually. So we'll see.
Thank you. Geir, thank you very much.
My pleasure, as always.
Such a warm welcome. We hope to see you soon.
Looking forward to it. Thank you. All the best. Have a nice weekend.
And we'll go back to